Earth is in the way. Well,
What would you like?
See, you want to make it go north?
I know.
Never mind.
I'll try to.
oh,
Oh, wait.
Nope, that's south.
but
One more. Some of us are.
is that, well, yeah, but
All right, go for it.
All right,
Go
whatever.
for it.
This is fine. Okay, so we sort of just walked along this trail here, going all the way from the corner of Felix and Vasquez, all the way to Riverside and Coriander. We were discussing the possibility of a sort of a main trail with focus on connectivity for bicycles and for basically everyone, and also the possibility of off the main trail like nature trails or more scenic routes in addition to that. We have sort of come up with a few ideas. I think we have it laid out here pretty well, but it's, I don't know, we ran into some issues, but
Why don't you start at Riverside and
I'll
move
start at
left, move
Riverside.
left, move right.
Okay, I think the main thought is starting at Riverside. We discussed two ideas, but I think we said we're moving more in the direction of following airport commerce. There's already a nice, it's an okay street to bike on currently, but we're also discussing the possibility of various off-street pathways, like a future sidewalk and maybe a future like multimodal path of 10 feet wide along the street. And talking about crossing here behind this
Warehouse.
this warehouse site. I don't know what it is exactly. It's a,
Airport commerce.
yeah, I know that. Is that that's what's called? Okay. Talking about going behind here, switching and going behind the homeowners association's property, and there's some questions arising in this area here, where we have a Simmons Vetter property. We have the homeowners association, and we're not sure about what that holds for the alignment of the trail, like where it's going to have to be in relation to that. But those are questions that we're going to have to figure out what needs to happen. As we go here behind this, we've got two drainage areas here. This is for the actual development here, and this is kind of a easement drainage area. This is like on the ridge of that. The trail is sort of going back here. Issues that we were talking about that I remember were being basically barren, hot, and in the heat of the summer. Not to mention April, like that. April's already pretty warm, but in like August or whatnot, coming through here it's pretty, and lack of any shade. Not too exciting, but fairly direct. But even there really aren't any scenic routes through here. It's like you might as well just get it over with. Anyway.
Is it possible to plant trees along there?
We talked about that.
Yeah. There was a discussion of that, and I guess some potential issues arising with volume of drainage, like of water, like watershed concerns. And I'm not really sure. I can't speak too much to that, but that was being.
It is our recommendation, and if we can do it, it will be done.
Yes. Great, yes.
So as it sort of bumps up against this there's a creek here along the side of this area here. The trail would go by here, except there's an issue with the drainage, like a fairly significant drop off here and erosion problems. And if we even decided to build one here, and if they'd even let us build one here, we might have issues with erosion. So we're discussing maybe jogging it back a little bit. Let's see. Down on this area, we've got a few issues. We've got. Well, I think it was decided that maybe the sort of connectivity trail should probably go straight through. But there are issues with drainage here as well, and there might have to be more work on drainage control. And maybe there's a possibility of like more scenic trails sort of outside of this region. But we're bringing the main trail like out here is just too close to a very steep creek side. That was not, I don't know. I think this is just more direct. So, what was it? Okay, here there's a connection point to. Well, we've got a little. This easement here is Austin Energy, and it's also a natural gas easement, I believe.
No.
So they have a few culverts that are sort of driven over by utility vehicles, and they've built bridges. And here's one, concrete crossing. Here's a connection point to. What is it?
Pam and Stefan's house.
Yeah. Montana and
Villita Avenida.
Villita Avenida.
that one. But there's already a cul-de-sac here, and there's already a road, sort of access road here. So the connectivity there would be pretty straightforward to set up. Unlike this, which I skipped over. Here there's a neighborhood road that sort of dead ends right here. At a property line, and there's a fence that was built up, and there's questions about what this connectivity might look like. What would the neighborhood association accept? What would be best for people commuting through here?
The gate is currently unlocked, so if a trail appears tomorrow, it's open access.
Exactly. So, I don't know. Up in the air.
Go
still.
Candace. Board member.
Yay. Okay, making our way over here. Where were we? Sorry, I'm getting kind of tired,
You're
guys.
doing well.
Okay.
That's the limestone crossing.
This is the limestone. Oh yeah, this is one of the road passes over this creek here. Is sort of a limestone roadway-based gravel, which is fine for the big vehicles, but for most bikes it's not terribly practical. So
It's hard to walk on for.
yeah, it's hard even to walk on. So a solution to that will have to be found. There's probably any number of ways. I mean, concrete was discussed. Probably kind of expensive, but maybe there's others that would allow both use of the trail. Both, use by trail users and also utility, easement use.
Does it flood now?
Sometimes the water can overtop that culvert crossing. Yes.
Especially if there's clog.
Especially if the drain is clogged with.
There was further down this way, there was a discussion of, we walked two paths. We walked this path, which sort of followed went along behind the park and followed this creek. And we also came back along this path, which is an existing access road, I believe, to this easement. So both are, options. Like this is already here, and this is, a bit more scenic, a bit more shaded, but I mean, this isn't too bad either. And we were recently discussing, what if we bring this back further, have the trail go actually through this existing, this land here, which is it city land?
It's going to be parkland from
Going to
the
be parkland?
donation.
And leaving open the possibility of northward connectivity along this easement, which I believe shows up on y'all's map. And then, discussion of various routes for nature trails through here. And, yeah. So.
But we liked being in the woods better than next to the practice fields. And even when we got up where the cemetery is, we'd like to ask the cemetery folks if we were just inside their property, would they be okay with that if we were a distance from the headstones?
Yeah.
Great. Questions, anybody?
Yeah, questions?
Comments? the places where it had gone into the woods, we didn't want to take that idea away. We wanted to add it to your dirt trail group. And that's our segue.
Yeah, so